says in the beginning of Parshas, it says in Parshas Kedoshim, very good test. Love your friend like yourself. We discussed in the past exactly, according to RabbiBlond.com in the Parsha section on Kedoshim, how exactly is it possible to love your friend like yourself? Everyone likes themselves more. Number one. Number two is there's a well-known statement of Rabbi Akiva. The average person doesn't know the source of this. It's actually Yerushalmi Maseches Nedarim Perek Tes Halacha Daled. This is a big principle. This is a big rule in the Torah. That's what Rabbi Akiva said. So there's obviously a lot of questions during this time of Sira, custom to learn Pirkei Avos. This is when the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva died between Pesach and Shavuos. The Gemara in Yevamos Hamach Beis, and we already discussed, we put on the Rabbi Akiva playlist. What does that mean if you don't honor or demonstrate respect towards a colleague, towards a friend, the chavrusa? You're not liable to die. You're not chayv misa. So then why then did they die? Understand if they were chutzpah to the Rebbe, they were kol ha'poisek kol ha'chav b'fnei rabba, you're going to be chayv misa. So that's if you're disrespectful towards your rabbi, your Rebbe, so then fine, that's one thing. But towards each other, what's the explanation? Deep question. We provided 6 answers. However, another question is, what is going on over here? Rabbi Akiva is the one who said that this is a general and important principle in the Torah. And now over here they're dying precisely because of this reason, because they didn't honor one another. So if you take a look at the Sefer Margalios Hashas over there in Yevamos and Samach Beis, they quote from he quotes from the L'Chayros Nasan, who says that Rabbi Akiva said, you know what? The simple ideas, I don't need to teach, it's just obvious. All my Talmidim, they know the psukim. These are great Talmid Chachamim we're talking about. Tremendous and high caliber of Torah that these people know. No. Rabbi Akiva learned afterwards, no, you have to teach everything, even the simple things. You have to teach everything and show that it's from Torah, that everything is from Torah. That's what he exemplified. That's what he taught them afterwards. That's one answer, potential answer.
So the Havamina came after the.
That's when Rabbi Akiva realized, wow, I need to now emphasize the importance of V'ahavta L'Recha Kamocha, and therefore that's after this whole episode. That's when he said V'ahavta L'Recha Kamocha. Could very well be, and started emphasizing it, and that's why he was known as Eklag Al B'Torah. This is a big principle. I literally just saw 45 minutes ago, as trying to get all the kids out of the house and getting attacked. Rabbi Zilberstein in his Aleinu Shabbat brings a few interesting ideas regarding this pasuk of V'ahavta L'Recha Kamocha. Share over, nothing too long, necessarily fancy, just interesting idea. One case is with tefillin. There's a story with a person, he forgot to bring his tefillin to shul. So he went up to someone else and said, oh, can I please put on your tefillin after Shemona Esrei? So the other fellow said, I'm stringent. I have a chumrah that I don't remove my tefillin until the last Kaddish. But, so that's what he said over there. So he said, you know what, let's ask the Shiloh, see what we should do, because you need the tefillin. And he said his lift was going to be leaving soon, and if he wouldn't be able to put the tefillin on by a certain time, he's going to lose his lift and have to take a lot of buses, and it would be an expense and a burden. So they went to Zilberstein and they asked him the Shiloh. And this is a beautiful answer. Because the guy said, so Zilberstein said, what about the chesed? Don't you have to do kindness? So he said, no. My life comes first. So he said, look, let's say you were in a similar situation. What would happen yourself? Let's say, right, would you now keep your tefillin on and lose your lift if you were in this situation, and then take the buses and have to shell out 100 shkalim to pay for buses, or not? So the answer to that question will answer what you should be doing with your tefillin in this case. Where do we learn this from? It's from the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Kuf Nun Vav. Over there it says, Lo yaseh malachto ikar, that a person shouldn't make his work primary in life. His parnasa, he shouldn't make it the primary focus. The Mishnah Berurah over there explains, Ela yaseh ra kedei parnasasa. A person should work only the amount that he needs to put food on the table and to cover his expenses. However, a person needs to be careful, says the Mishnah Berurah, person needs to be careful from their evil inclination over there. The Yetzer Hara is going to say, oh, work more. No, not necessarily true. Says the Mishnah Berurah, person has to think about what do I actually need? If I'm not mistaken, you go to the recordings from RabbiBlond.com in the Mishnah Berurah, and that's him over there. 156. Kuf Nun Vav. quote a story from my aunt who said that she knows someone, pizza shop owner in Israel, that immediately once he gets how much money he needs, he closes the pizza shop, goes to the basement to learn. That's a high level, but that's what we're saying over here. Know what you need and what's impossible without that. To make malachto yarai Torah has to be the ikar, like the Gemara in Brachos discusses on Lamed Hey. Difference between Doros Rishonim and Achronim. The Char Tzion says that the Yitzhar shouldn't trick a person and contemplate. If our work, we were only working in order to support someone else, how much would we work and when would we stop working and pull the plug on the work in order that, because the fellow had enough now? We wouldn't be working overtime so that now he could afford luxuries. We have to figure out what's a necessity. So too over here, you have to check what would you do yourself? Nice episode, a beautiful story over there. That's the idea over here. A few other stories that he brings over here. One is with Rabbi Sarna, the Rosh Hashiva of Hebron. When he was older, it was very difficult to daven, and he forced himself to go to shul and daven Motzei Shabbos. He said, "What's up?" He said, "No, you're right that it's derabanan, but saying hello to the bachrim, that's a mitzvah aseh of haftal l'recha kamocha."
Wow.
They want to see me. The bachrim, the araisa, they want to see me. The Rakanti says that you have to love your friend. And if you love your friend who was made in the Selam Alokim, the image of Hashem, then you're going to love Hashem as well and honor him. That's the idea. So the Mishnah Berurah in Hilchos Tefillin, it's in Chaf Aleph, Sivkot in Yud Daled, another Tefillin idea. Quotes the Sefer Charidim who says that when we say in the Gemara, anyone who recites Shema without Tefillin, Haru Kilu Meid Eidah Sheker Ba'atzmos, as if you're testifying falsely about yourself. Taisus over there explains that because you're saying Mukashartam, that you're going to tie the Tefillin on you and you're not wearing it, it's hypocritical for the morning Shema. So we can learn from over here that this certainly applies when we say in Shema the Hafta. The Hafta is Hashem Elokecha. It has to be injected and instilled within us to love Hashem, so that we shouldn't be lying, God forbid. Plus v'shalom. We know that tefillin has to be on when we recite Shema, in order that we don't testify falsely. But do we know this idea? To really love Hashem and to think about that, so it's that midavar sheker tircha kedover shkarims, that we're not just lying over here, fooling ourselves. Chacham says, Rav Zilberstein, when I am doing Shnai Mikra Targum, I'm reading from Chumash and I'm reading this pasuk of V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. So I gotta have the Avos Hashem, right? I gotta have that love of Hashem. Or maybe is it only when I'm saying Shema? So he said the Chassam Sofer says that when you reach the parsha in the Torah of Shema and Vayam Shemoah Kadesh Vayav Yachid, etc., the Chassam Sofer would put on tefillin, so it won't be as if he's testifying falsely. However, it seems like the custom is like what the Kaf HaChaim says in Siman Chafei Sivkot and Chav Zayin, that says that no, this false testimony only applies when you're actually fulfilling your obligation. It's not when you're reading it from the Torah. But the idea is that we should certainly keep this in mind. Certainly keep this in mind. That's the idea over here. Owner of a printing company once came to Ramosha Feinstein Zatzal and said, I was given, I'm getting paid to print something, 3,000 newspapers approximately, about how one of your rulings was bad. That's what the topic is. And insults. What should I do? Moshe Feinstein responded. Remember, it was getting printed about himself. If you're not going to print it, it's going to take away from your income if you're not going to print it. I'm not obligated to now cause a decrease in your income that you're going to be making just because of me. Print it. You see, Moshe Feinstein instructed the printer to print it anyways. Why? Even though it was against him. Why? Because of his parnasa. That's what it means to love someone like yourself.